Yeah. Analytics off the chain, other channels not the same. Jake and Kyle, you know the name. Headliner Nation, we running the game. I'm a headliner.
What is going on, Headliner Nation? Welcome into the Fantasy Headliners. We're in the middle of the day here on Sunday. Football games going on across the league, and some breaking news catching everybody off guard right now that, I mean, obviously is going to be talked about right away, and I wanted to make sure that we touch base on it as well. Calvin Ridley announcing that he is stepping away from football at this time to focus on himself. Now, I'm going to talk, we're a fantasy football channel, right? That's what we talk about here. But the larger scale picture of things, I want to talk about at the end of the video. So for those of you that just came to hear about football, I'm going to go over that first. And then my thoughts on everything involved with what's going on, I'm going to put that at the end of the video. So I encourage any of you that want to hear that message, please stick around till the end. But let's talk about football first. On Calvin Ridley social media from his Twitter account, he says these past few weeks have been very challenging, and as much as I'd like to be on the field, competing with my teammates, I need to step away from football at this time and focus on my mental well-being. This will help me to be the best version of myself now and in the future. I want to thank my teammates, the entire Atlanta Falcons organization, our great fans, friends, family, and all the support for all their support during this time. Coming directly from his Twitter account, it caught everybody off guard. Just a few hours before game day today, it was announced that he was going to, I mean, not even a few hours, a couple of hours, it was announced that he was going to be inactive for the day. And a lot of people were scrambling, trying to figure out this is the second time this season that he's missed due to personal reasons. The first time flying to London, some people were thinking, well, maybe it's because he wasn't vaccinated and wouldn't be allowed to travel. And at this point, now we're trying to figure out if it was actually something else. But it's evidently clear that Calvin Ridley right now is not in a space where he can compete on the football field. And again, I'm going to talk more about that at the end of the video, but I want to get you my football reaction to this first. We are a fantasy football channel, so I want to cover what kind of an impact you will see moving forward, and you'll also hear about this in the waiver wire video. But a couple of things to talk about football-wise with the Atlanta Falcons. This hasn't been a very good team all season long, right? I mean, even today, as we speak right now, Kyle Pitts hasn't done anything against Carolina. And again, I think they're beginning of the fourth or so as I talk through this video. Kyle Pitts hasn't really done anything today. And a guy that everyone thought was going to step in today was going to be Russell Gage. He hasn't done anything either. So the question is going to be, who is going to be helping out the Atlanta Falcons now that, you know, obviously trading Julio Jones this offseason was a big part. And then obviously with Calvin Ridley, missing him now, they're not going to have a whole lot of options. So who's going to be the guy to go to? Well, first and foremost, it is going to be Russell Gage for me. Now, the person that, I don't want to say benefits from this the most, because obviously that wouldn't be the best word to use, but the person that might see increased volume or whatever it may be, I still think this helps Cordarrell Patterson out. I think, you know, talking about Cordarrell Patterson and what he's been doing, I don't think he's a trade candidate now. Now, obviously, if you get overwhelmed with some kind of a crazy offer, you got to consider everything, right? But Cordarrell Patterson, who's been on fire this year, is going to be in line for even more work now, and a potential to see him not only in the backfield, but even lined up at wide receiver much more often. Now, if that happens and he is out at wide receiver more often, we're going to see Mike Davis with an increased role. And then Mike Davis is going to become a guy that maybe we're looking at as like an RB3 again. A lot of us were off of him. He might end up coming back, but that's something that we're going to have to see play out is if Cordarrell Patterson heads back out to wide receiver more often. The other wide receiver options, Russell Gage, he's still kind of first up on my list at this point. We've seen him have success in this offense before. We've seen him connect with Matt Ryan. It hasn't been there this season. Maybe it ends up coming to fruition, but he's going to be the first guy kind of up at this point that's going to see an increased volume at the wide receiver position. And then Taji Sharp is a guy who off and on you've seen play a little bit this year, but because, you know, of where he's been at in the offense, he hasn't really done anything. He's a guy that could step in and now be the wide receiver too. And you still have Olamide Zaccheaus that's going to be able to step into and help out. I don't think any of those guys we're running into as must-adds. Russell Gage, for those of you that don't own him, I'm still thinking that he is the first guy that we pick up. And then between Sharp and Zaccheaus, I don't know. Hunt, another one to take a look at too, is Hayden Hurst. Hayden Hurst, if they run more two tight end sets now, he's also going to benefit from this. Kyle Pitts, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. He hasn't really been lining up as a tight end anyway. He's been more in the slot and more outside. I don't think we changed what we've seen from him. But Hayden Hurst lining up actually at tight end, but being used as a receiving threat now, I think this is going to help him at the tight end position. So this news doesn't really affect the wide receivers too much for me. Russell Gage is the first one, but I think we're going to have to see kind of the domino effect of Cordarrell Patterson. Does he stay at running back as often? Does he go out to wide receiver more? If he does that mean Mike Davis is on the field more? Hayden Hurst, does he play on the line more? If he does he get more targets? Those are all going to be things that we're going to need to be watching coming out of this, and we'll talk about individually on the waiver wire video as well, but I wanted to post some breaking news video so everyone was aware of kind of what my thoughts were with the offense and where we're going with it. Now, something that's way more important than football as a whole. An athlete today made a decision to really decide my mental health and my well-being is more important than anything else right now, okay? So for those of you that are done with the football portion, you can cut out, you can be done, whatever. For those of you that want to hear the rest of the message, I would encourage you to do so. It's something that's tough these days. For you to give up something that you love because your mental capacity just isn't there is a very, very tough decision. As someone who has seen that happen firsthand, I can tell that making this decision does not come lightly to Calvin Ridley. This was probably a very difficult decision. How long is it going to be? Is it going to be for the rest of the year? Is it going to be for a few weeks? Is it going to be till next season? Who knows? There's no telling how long Calvin Ridley could be out at this point. But he made a decision for himself today, and he plays in a league where people make decisions for themselves all the time. Teams are always willing to cut a player or walk away from a player, to put a player on the bench, to basically say, you're not helping this team at all, so we have no need for you. Owners, coaches, they do it all the time. They always put themselves and the team before their players, 99% of the time anyway. He made a decision today to say, I need to put myself first. And I'm going to be willing to bet that almost everybody in that locker room is going to understand because they're brothers with him, and they're going to give him love and respect, and they're going to give him the space that he needs. So from a non-football standpoint, for those of you out there that struggle every day with the same type of things that Calvin Ridley might be struggling with, this is a message to you. Take care of yourself and do what you need to do. Anybody in the comments that wants to slander myself for that take or Calvin Ridley, I'm going to block you right away. I don't care. You don't need to be here. This is a positive community. He did something that was positive for himself today, and this is bigger than football, so I wanted to share my message. If you want to be negative about it, if you want to comment about it, that's fine. Keep it respectful. You're disrespectful, you're gone. I'm not even going to think twice about it. But from a football standpoint, this is going to have repercussions, and we're going to have to figure out where to go and what to do. So, ladies and gentlemen, keep an eye on the waiver wire video. I'm going to be talking about it a lot more there, but I wanted to get this breaking news video out right away. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and if you haven't, leave a comment down below. If you've got any questions about how this may affect your team, I'll see if I can get to as many as possible today. I'm going to get out of here, though, and watch some more football. Y'all stay safe. Y'all stay healthy, and I'll catch you on the next episode of the Fantasy Headliners.
Analytics off the chain, other channels not the same. Jake and Kyle, you know the name. Headliner Nation, we running the game. Y'all stuck on third down. Your content's plain Jane. Headliners on top now. We gonna move and change. Podcast off the rip. Draft guide, so legit. Fantasy world, our game tight. You know we about that chub life. Stuck in a rut and you need some motivation. Head to the channel for this Headliner Nation.
I'm a headliner.